Good to see you again. Don't suppose you're free for a chat. It's about Watchtower. First though, if you'll indulge me for just a second, I have a small side tangent. I just wanted to say, the whole fleet thing, you've done a first-rate job. True, you could have more ships, but maybe that's just me being greedy. The amount you've got clearly works just fine. Anyway, I'm glad you took my advice about building a fleet seriously. I have little doubt that's why you're still here, and not in some Watchtower cell. Right, sorry, distracted myself. We were talking about Watchtower. So far, the fleet you've put together has kept Watchtower at bay. Clearly, we hit on a strategy that works. But that doesn't mean we're untouchable. If we get complacent, it could end up spelling our doom. So I want to do a little recon. Find out what, if anything, Watchtower might know about our current operation. You up for a little adventure? Nothing too crazy, relatively speaking. I know where we can find a Watchtower database. One that's been freshly purloined by a gang of spacers. If we can get access to it, using Gren's decryption program, I should be able to hack the database and pull Watchtower's most recent intelligence reports. If there's no new mentions of us, then we're in the clear. Nothing to worry about, at least for the time being. It's kinda complicated, but let's just say I tapped a very reliable source, one that I trust implicitly. The information is good, and barring some freak circumstance, the database should provide the exact information we need to know. Spacers are not exactly the friendliest bunch. Disorganized, vicious, and more often than not, heavily armed. To be blunt, they're violent psychopaths who will scavenge anything useful and blast whoever gets in their way. In that case, I don't know. There's bound to be some record of us on the database. I mean, it's not as if Watchtower don't know who we are. But so long as nothing indicates a change in their tactics regarding us, I think we should be good. Once we find the database, I'll have a better idea as to our next move. That is, if we need to move at all. Here's the coordinates for the station that's holding the database. I'll be tagging along for this one, so let's get going. This is the place, all right. On our approach, I saw another vessel docked. I'd bet every credit I have that we'll find the database sitting in that ship's cargo hold. However, the ship's at a docking port on the opposite side of the station. We're gonna have to hoof it on over there. Lead on, Skipper. I'm right behind you. is over. Pretty sure we've got... We're not far off it.
Fine, let's go.
This never
vacuum blew in. This here's spacer territory, friend. And you don't look like no spacer. So I think it's time for you to turn around and leave. Is that a joke? Why would we hand anything over to you? I don't know about that, but maybe I'm rethinking things. What you're asking for ain't that simple. Cooperation, huh? All right, I hear you. That sounds like a threat. I don't take kindly to threats. Ah, shut up already. I don't take orders from you or anyone else. Let's see you talk your way out of this. I'm gonna enjoy this. Now!
You're not so tough. We were in the middle of a fight. Rude. Docking port's locked up tight. Check the captain's body. We might have the codes we need to open. Cargo hold is this way. Follow me. Aha! Watchtower database. Right where it should be. Just give me a few seconds here. And we're in. Pulling recent records. Well, hello, here's a familiar entry. DA1596-B Torin. Uh-huh. What is this? DS1599-A. I do believe this record is yours. Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely you. No doubt about that. And... Oh. Well, I didn't read everything, but I think I got the gist of it all. And it seems we have ourselves a classic good news, bad news situation. Which do you want to hear first? Right, the bad news. Watchtower know about everything we've been doing. Like, everything. I don't know how they even learned some of this stuff. They know about Stardock, about the fleet you've built to counter their abduction attempts. They definitely know about a handful of their listening posts going quiet. Yeah, they know that was us. They know about Harper, Gren, Dr. Lane, even Babs. They know everything. The good news, there isn't any. Sorry, I lied. I thought it might soften the blow. Oh, hold on. There's more. They also know about your connection to Constellation, about the artifacts, And they know I'm Starborn. I'm not surprised. It did seem like you already figured it out. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. It's just... well, there were reasons. Important ones. And I'd imagine you have more than a few questions you'll want answering, and I'm more than willing to explain myself. But before we get to that, Watchtower. The database suggests they've been doing more than just watching us. They've been planning something. Something big. Something that a fleet can't protect us from. We will. You have my word on that. Just... I know I may have already said this a whole bunch, but just... not yet. This is more than I thought we'd be dealing with. I need to get this database back. Try to pull more info from it. Listen, we definitely need to talk about many things. But it's going to have to wait just a little bit longer. I'm going to take this ship back to Stardock, see if Gren can help me with the database. Meet me at Stardock as soon as you can, and I'll answer everything, I promise. Or I suppose I could give you a ride back, if you'd prefer. Great. Take a seat and get comfortable. I'll arrange for someone to come pick up your ship. Once we're back at Stardock, I'll need just a little time to look over the database, so I hope you got a book to read or something. What's the plan? I'll be around if you need me. Ah, good timing. Please, take a seat. Not long finished pulling what we can from that Watchtower database. Uncovered plenty of interesting tidbits, and a few answers to some lingering questions. Speaking of, I think it's long past time you got some answers yourself. So, elephant in the room, me, and my status as Starboard. Not too sure how to start this, really. Any ideas? In this universe? No. No one else knows I'm Starborn, just you. Oh, and I guess Watchtower as well. And now that I think about it, maybe also any other Starborn I've met who also just happened to have jumped to this universe. They'd know. But that's it. No one else. Oh, and I guess your friend now too. Hi, by the way. What? No, definitely not. I know that's how some Starborn do things, but not me. I'm not here for your artifacts. I'm here for other reasons. You weren't ready. You were and still are on the road to the Unity, but at that point, it was simply too soon for you to know. Besides, before I could even think about revealing anything, I needed to see what kind of person you were, what you were really like. And it turns out you were pretty much what I expected. That's easy. I told you that when we first met. I want to do everything I can to keep you safe from Watchtower. But maybe you need context as to why I want to do that. The simple answer is, you saved my life. Not you, but another you. You see, in my previous universe, I was captured by Watchtower. There was no explanation, no trial, no jury, just indefinite incarceration and experimentation. And that's where I'd still be if another star-born prisoner hadn't taken pity on me. Seemed like he'd been there for a long time. Yet somehow one day he broke himself free, and instead of just running for it, he risked his life to free me too. That's a complicated question. Until the day we escaped, we'd never actually met in person before. In fact, the only vocal exchanges we ever had was hearing each other's screams during Watchtower's research sessions. That didn't stop us talking, though. We'd leave little notes for each other in the containment chambers they cycled us through. Honestly, I think those notes were the only thing that stopped me from losing all sense of hope. But I can say that you looked roughly the same, and had a great sense of humor. And when the cards were on the table, you risked it all just to help someone. Not sure, really. It was difficult to keep track of time. But it was long enough to grow out a beard, at least twice. If I had to guess, I'd say I was in their custody for at least 8 months. Most of the time, they just kept me locked in a containment chamber. They seemed to be able to suppress my starborn powers while I was in there. But every so often, they'd bring me out for research. They'd force some sort of collar around my neck and escort me to their laboratory. I don't know if the experiments had a purpose to them or not, but they were almost always painful. It didn't take long to figure out we were being held on a star station, so the plan was simple. Commandeer a ship and get the hell out of there. At this point, Watchtower knew we'd escaped, so we had to fight to get to the docking bay. It was tough, but having starborn powers sure helped. And then, just as we were about to board a ship, I turned around and saw you. Minus half your head. I have no idea what they shot you with, but there was nothing I could do. You were already gone. Yeah, sorry. But hey, if it's any consolation, it seemed fairly quick and painless. Although, strangely, your body did linger longer than usual. Normally, when Starborn are killed, they dissolve into a sort of glowing dust almost right away. But for some reason, whatever Watchtower shot you with seemed to delay that. Maybe some sort of anti-Starborn weapon? I don't know. Well, my retelling may have made it sound easy. However, it was anything but. There were waves of Watchtower troops, robots, station defenses. Multiple times I thought, this is it. But you, I mean, the other you. Every obstacle that blocked our way, he'd just tear through it. I could tell how much it took out of him, but he just wouldn't give up. If I had tried to escape by myself, there's no way I would have made it. Yeah, I escaped. But after that, no matter where I went or how much I tried to keep a low profile, Watchtower always managed to find me. It became clear there was nowhere I could hide. At least not in that universe. So I gathered the artifacts, constructed the artillery, and passed through the Unity. Ended up in the universe you and I are in right now. I had a chance for a do-over, to avoid being captured by Watchtower this time. But I realized there was someone who deserved that more than me. I know you're not technically the same person I met on that station, but I owe you one. That's why I tracked you down, brought you in on this whole fleet thing. I had to pay you back for saving me. I had to keep you safe. Maybe. Maybe not. Anyway, if there's anything you want to know about me, Starborn, or Unity, just ask, okay? I'll answer what I can. But back to the subject of Watchtower, the database. With Gren's help, I pulled a lot more info than we usually could. I know what they're planning now, and I'm not gonna lie, it's not good. Oh, did I not explain that? Okay, in my previous universe, I came across a bunch of scavengers, picking over the remains of a Watchtower ship. Although I didn't yet know what Watchtower was, I tailed the scavengers, took care of them, and went to investigate what it was they'd found. There were a few trinkets, shards of a breached hull, but the most interesting thing was a mostly intact computer, the database. Most of the data was fragmented, but before it erased itself, it was enough to learn about Watchtower, to learn they'd been keeping tabs on me. I knew where the database would be, because I'd found it before. Although this time, thanks to Gren's decryption program, we were able to learn a lot more. First off, Watchtower know what Starborn are. I mean, I always suspected as much, but now I know for sure. Only they call Starborn deviants? Charming. They consider us dangerous, a threat to mankind, even. That's why they've been trying to capture us. Only with us, their usual tactics aren't working, and they are well aware of it. All the hostile ships they've sent our way? Busy work to keep us occupied and laboring under the increasingly false impression that we're safe. Turns out, we are not. So it seems. I mean, the clues were already there. They do have technology able to incapacitate and contain us. That could have been accidental, but that's not likely. I always suspected they were after me because I'm Starborn, and the database just confirmed it. I have no idea how much they know about Starborn, though. The info I unearthed was scant, at best. Watchtower like keeping their secrets. Well, apparently we're high-priority targets. Enough of a problem for Watchtower to be engineering a whole new technology just to capture us. Presumably it's some kind of weapon, but I couldn't uncover any real specifics. Only that a fleet won't offer any protection from it. I believe Watchtower's current game plan is to keep us occupied until this weapon is complete, and then hit us with everything they have. Nope, not really. All I could find was that in response to our actions, Watchtower have been pouring a lot of resources into its development. It seems our fleet strategy worked a little too well, forced them to change tactics. But whatever this weapon is, they seem to believe a fleet won't be able to counter it. Well, I suppose that's because they are dangerous. At least some of them. You've experienced that firsthand. Powerful beings with strange, unexplained abilities. Who wouldn't be concerned? You know, now that I think about it, Watchtower might actually have a point. Although that certainly doesn't excuse everything they've done, and I'm not more willing to hand myself over to their tender care. Watchtower knows more than I thought, but they don't know that we know that they know, which gives us an advantage, I think. By letting us build and maintain a fleet, Watchtower thinks they've kept us distracted. They'll think we're content to keep to our current status quo. So, I propose we instead do the unexpected. Instead of letting Watchtower come to us when they're good and ready, we go to them before they've had time to finish their new weapon, and we take them out of the picture. I won't lie, it will be dicey, but it's the only way I can see us not ending up in a containment cell for the rest of our lives. Already tried that myself. Sure, it gave me a head start, but that didn't stop them from finding me again. At best, a Unity jump just buys you time, and probably less than you think. Hold on. I admire you being proactive, but we shouldn't rush this. We still have time. For the sake of secrecy, for now, I'm going to hold off on sharing the exact details of my take-out Watchtower plan until you think we're good to go. For the moment, I suggest you keep working on your fleet. Get as many ships as you can, outfitted with the best weapons, systems, and of course, skydrops. When you think we're ready, just let me know. In the meantime, business as usual. Now, let's get back to it, shall we? See you when I see you.